Attention is on Prime Minister Raila Odinga after the Coalition for Reform and Democracy launched its ambitious manifesto.
In the same breath, KTN's James Smart spoke to the CORD presidential candidate on this political milestone, and here is part of that interview.
Congratulations on launching the manifesto. How do you feel about it? What is that one thing, if you'd look back, you'd say, from that manifesto, this is what I can run with?
I think first we wanted to put out our clear agenda for the country. And you can see we start with jobs. I think that's a very important starting point. And that's why the other time I said jobs, jobs, jobs. Because we want to have a working country, a working nation. In fact, we are trying to introduce a 24-hour working nation. But if we create jobs for our people, then wealth will be created. That's the best way to fight poverty in our country. And that's why I'm very happy that we've come out with very strongly as a coalition. So you see, the manifesto that we have put out today is actually an amalgam of the various manifestos of WIPA, Democratic Movement, Ford Kenya, and ODM.
The retiring president undoubtedly will take infrastructure as part of his legacy. And do you feel that part of legacy of infrastructure is owed to you? Do you feel you have share in that infrastructure legacy?
I don't want anybody to try to go and make noise that, oh, Raila is trying to take away Kibaki's legacy. You see, there's a president, there's a prime minister, but you can start it with the minister and the president. I used to be minister for roads. I introduced a number of these reforms in the road sector, which are now yielding results today. All the roads that are being constructed, whether it's a thicker highway, be it the bypasses around the city, the southern bypass, the eastern bypass, the northern bypass, and the link roads. Kenyans know who initiated them, okay? You go and talk about the Mombasa Highway and so on, and go back to energy. Working together with the World Bank, I introduced the reforms in the energy sector and also converted the rural electrification from a pure commercial venture to an infrastructure project. And I say that rural electrification cannot be treated purely from purely commercial point of view. If you look at return on investment, then you can, it is not viable. But I said, let us look at it as an infrastructure. Let the government provide money for rural electrification. Because if you take electricity to the village, it triggers off economic activities which result in employment and wealth creation in that village. So that's the infrastructure. Of course, water, you know what has happened. So I'm saying we can share. I don't want to take it away from the president.
Speaking about campaigns and politics proper, as the party leader of ODM, you're just coming out of a very difficult primaries and nominations. How do you feel about that?
Believe it or not, Kenya is really being praised outside there. They're saying that Kenyan democracy is maturing. They're saying the first country on the continent of Africa where parties have done primaries. They are doing primaries and being hotly contested. Some people are being dropped, and so on. This has never happened in any other African country. They say that in other African countries, candidates are just handpicked by party leaders, and so on. So in my view, these primaries need to be seen more positively. They are beginning. Our democracy is maturing. Still, there are some people who have not quite embraced the democratic principles, but they are learning. They're going through a learning process.
You think that's the way to go?
I think that's the way to go. the way to go. Sometimes our media is overly negative and overcritical of what has happened in this country. But believe it or not, other countries outside this country are actually praising Kenya for what has just happened in this country.
Some of those critics and some of those propagandas, you say, they said that you are trying to impose, your sister and your brother and leaders upon, people of Nyanza.
Nothing could be really further from the truth. The people in Nyanza know better. They know that I will never impose. And they also know that these people are grown-ups who just wanted to run on their own. Oburu has been in parliament for now 19 years, almost 20 years now. And each time he has been elected, he has never gone in and opposed. They've always been strong opponents, starting from the late Obudongo Mamo and so on. And he has always been elected probably by the people. So there's no time when I have ever gone to intervene on his behalf. I've never even campaigned for him. So he goes in on his own. This time around, it's unfortunate that he was not allowed to campaign for himself in Siaya. The same thing applies to Ruth. Ruth is a married lady. She no longer lives in Odinga's homestead. She's married in Kisumu County. That's where she went to run. And she consulted the people there who told her she should run. And she was a very popular candidate by all accounts.
She feels she won those nominations.
She feels so, and I think you need to go down proper and talk to the people of Kisumu what they think about it. All of them, most of the people tell you it is very unfortunate that she was treated the way she was treated, that she therefore had to step down. But that again is life. So that's a price that you pay for being a relative of a presidential candidate. So I'm so sorry for both of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You feel, your brother did not make it.
It's unfortunate that he didn't make it through no fault of his own. Of course, he believes strongly that if he had been nominated, he would have won. But then there was too much of propaganda against him that he supposedly lost before the votes were cast. his opponent announced results even before people cast the votes. And this is what the media ran with. So it's unfortunate, but that's life.
As I wind down, I must ask you this. Your opponents nationally have said that they have the numbers, that basically you're running a losing campaign. Do you have the numbers?
Look at it this way. I mean, these people are flaunting ethnic figures. They are flaunting figures saying, oh, we have Mount Kenya, we have Rift Valley, we don't have Eastern, and so on and so forth. They have never shown us anything else. The people are not owned by candidates. So they would not come up with any scientific way to justify what they're talking about. They're basically trying to divide this country in ethnic blocks. But Kenyans have moved on from where they're standing. Kenyans no longer look at themselves in the terms of ethnicity. So people have been asked by surveyors, those who do opinion polling, and they have spoken. So how come these people are speaking on behalf of the people whom they have not asked how they are going to vote? Opinion polls basically tells you how these people are going to cast their votes. So on the basis of that basis, how do they have more numbers than myself? How do they have more numbers? Because the numbers can only be made use of on the basis of opinion polls. That is what gives you critical numbers. And by what is on that account, I have more numbers than they do have. Because my support has never been based on my ethnicity. Look at it. Originally, I was born a Luo. But I've moved on. That's why I play my politics from Nairobi. See? The Luo, according to the last poll, our last census, constitute about 12% of the population. But if you look at the poll since 2008, up to date, I've received most of the time over 30%, meaning that my support is not ethnic-based. It is never was ethnic-based. My politics, I play from Nairobi here, which is the capital of the country, and very cosmopolitan.
So we should do this interview on March the 5th in State House.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
State House.
Thank you.